bringing the next level of your life that's currently in your mind that you can see, but it's not tangible. You can't feel it. You don't know how to obtain it. You want to. You've been putting in the work, you've been grinding, you've been consistent, but you're wondering, when is it going to happen? When am I actually going to be able to experience the life that I'm going after? And the actual answer is that you have to slow down. You have to stop grinding, stop wearing yourself down to the bone, stop focusing so much on effort and discipline, and actually slow down. And the reason behind this is because you're so focused on getting to a destination that you're not even making the best decisions that you could make if you just slowed down. You think you have the clarity because you have the image of where you want to be, but you don't have the clarity of the character behind the person who lives that life. So you find yourself in cycles to where you're achieving, and then you have a little bit of a setback, and then you fall into a cycle, you fall into a rut, you pick yourself back up out of it, you're achieving, and then the same thing happens again and again and again and again. And each time you fall into a rut, you feel like once you get out of it that you've learned lessons, right? You feel better. You know that you've gotten further. So it's not even like the ruts are necessarily holding you back, but what's holding you back is your inability to sit still and slow down. Because you feel like if you sit still and slow down, that the moment's going to pass you by. You feel like you're not going to be able to actualize the reality that you have in your mind. And that comes from a lack of patience. And you feel as though you have to constantly be doing, but you're not giving yourself enough time to slow down and recognize what it looks like to be the person that already lives that lifestyle. So the next level of your life that you have in your mind, it's a clear vision. You already see it in your mind, but you're like, why is it not here? I've been grinding for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and it's still not here. It's because you need to slow down. You don't need to work harder. You don't need to take more action. You don't need to put in more reps. You need to make smarter decisions. You need to make more aligned decisions. You need to make more calculated decisions. Your decision making needs to get sharper. You've already gotten to the point to where you know that you need action and discipline. There are certain tiers and phases that you get to within your life. When you first start out and you're at rock bottom, you have nothing but the will to get yourself out of that situation. The only thing that can get you out of your situation is action, discipline, staying consistent. That's the only thing that can get you out of that situation. But once you get out of that rock bottom situation and you've seen some success and you've gotten glimpses of that reality that you see so clearly up here, but it's not full, it's not actualized. You still feel like something's missing internally. You still feel like something is not fully there. And you think that by just going harder, by just working more, by just putting in more effort, more hours, late nights, early mornings, more discipline, and you're listening to what everyone is saying on social media. But what you don't realize is that your mind, that same mind that has that clear vision of where you want to be, is also so entrenched in the algorithm of social media, of society, of your internal programming, that you haven't taken the time to slow down and get clarity on the character of the person who lives the lifestyle that you see up here. And if you don't have clarity on that character, then it's never going to fully come to fruition. You might even see glimpses, you might even get the whole thing. But what's going to happen is you're still going to feel like something's missing. You're still going to feel like something's off. And something will be off because your internal paradigm, your internal identity, how you see yourself is going to be a mismatch with the lifestyle that you're living. And I came to this realization earlier this week within my business because I had been focusing so much on getting these revenue goals, hitting these revenue goals. And I had to sit back and ask myself, I said, okay, well, Caleb, why aren't you building up your personal brand? Why does it feel like every single time you try to build your personal brand, there's always something that causes you to not be consistent? You always blame it on work or you blame it on whatever else happens. And you say, oh, well, the business got busy. There's a lot of things going on. So I'll just take a break on the personal brand and, I got to focus on my clients because that's what's most important. But I had to sit back and ask myself, why is that the case? Because the vision that I have for myself, I have a personal brand that is elite. I have a personal brand that is one of one. And the only way, buenos días, ¿cómo está? And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is by having consistency with my personal brand, posting this content, curating it in the way that I see within my mind. But me wanting to hit these revenue goals, I'm taking projects that aren't aligned. I'm feeling afraid to say no to certain projects because I think that, oh, how am I going to pay my team? Am I going to be able to sustain my own business expenses, my own personal expenses, all of these different things? So I had to get real serious with myself and say, there are only two things that I need to be focusing on right now. A specific niche within my business that I'm scaling currently and my personal brand. Anything that doesn't fit within those lines has to get cut. But if I didn't slow down to try and get that clarity, then I would still be fragmented. My focus has been so split. And when your focus is split, you'll never get the clarity, right? I mean, you see where I'm at right now? We had rented a villa for the weekend. There's a day party later today at a nice spot nearby. And being here, seeing all of this, right? This is a part of the lifestyle that I see within the type of person that I want to be. But it's like, okay, those are the external things. But what is the internal vehicle and mechanism that I operate off of? What are the principles? What's the character? How am I living on my day to day? And I always thought that it was just put in the effort, put in the action, but you have to get aligned and you have to really get that clarity. And if I, have all of this, but yet still feel like internally I'm not aligned with the man that I want to be, with the type of person that I want to be, then what's the point? At that point, it's going to feel even worse because you've obtained the tangible physical things that you've seen in your mind, but you still don't feel like the person that you wanted to be. You still can't confidently and with certainty know that you are who you say you are, right? That's the most important thing. So to get to the next level, you have to slow down. You're at a point where you've done everything that you can do when it comes to effort. You've went hard, you fucked up, you've learned from it, you've went hard, you fucked up, you learned from it, you went hard, you fucked up, you learned from it. You've done that cycle so many times. You've done it so many times, and it's gotten you further. It's gotten you to where you want to be, but don't fall into the trap that thinking that that is the way to get to the next level. Especially if you're a high achiever, especially if you've already seen some success, don't think that the next level is just you're going to get there by more of that. You're not. It's not possible. You have to slow down and you have to have more intentional and more strategic decision making. You have to be able to get it quick. You have to be able to have so much certainty that this is the direction that I want to go in. This is the principles that I want to stand on. These are the values that I have, and things that don't align with that, I'm okay. I don't need that. And that's a difficult thing to do because there's societal pressure, there's peer pressure from friends, family, social media. We feel like we have to adhere to a particular type of standard for ourselves, but does that standard match the values, the character of who you want to be. The biggest thing you can do, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're a high achiever, you have a big vision for yourself, the biggest thing you can do right now in this moment is slow down, pause, stop going so hard. And that doesn't mean stop doing everything. I was up super late last night. I was up until like 1, 2 a.m. last night. I woke up at 7:30. Had a call with a team member that's getting ready to go do a shoot for a client right now. So it's not like you just say, oh, fuck it all. I'm just going to kick back. And no, you still know the mission. You still know what you have to do. You still take the action, but it's much more aligned now. And it's not tied to the things that have been impressed upon you that you don't even really want. You don't even really want. So it's extremely important, extremely important. It's vital that you slow down to get to the next level in your life. The only way you're going to get there is if you slow down. So if you're like, oh, well, Caleb, I feel like if I slow down, then I'm going to lose my progress. Then you're attaching your progress to your own effort, which is futile. Your own effort is always going to get you to a certain point and nothing further. And you've already hit that threshold. You've already hit that point. So what you need at this point is clarity. What you need at this point is awareness. What you need at this point is certainty in who you are and how you move. And it's not the easiest thing to do. It's not. There are temptations, there are vices, there are societal pressures. And I'm in that phase right now, right? There's fear, right? There's scarcity and lack that you may have had within you that's going to show up when you have to start making these decisions. There's fear of missing out, fear of judgment from other people. There are so many things that you have to now become okay with experiencing as you go through this process. But it's required and necessary for you to hit that next level. It's the only way you're going to hit that next level. Otherwise, you're going to white knuckle your way to the next level. It's going to feel like such an uphill battle, and you're going to feel like shit once you get there. You're going to feel like, was this really what this was it? This is it? I did all of that for this? Like, yeah, it's cool, I have, all of this and that, all these tangible things, but this is, I had to go through all of that for this? Because internally you still don't feel like you're aligned with the core principles and values that you have within you, right? That you've gotten from God, right? All of those things to where now you have to really get serious. And that means, it doesn't mean isolation, but it means you have to be very selective now. You have to be okay disappointing people. You have to be okay being selfish. You have to be okay saying no to get to that next level. Whether it's to projects, people, family, relationships, opportunities, whatever it is, if it's not aligned, you have to say no, because this is crunch time. This is crunch time. And I'm talking to you like I'm talking to myself, because I need this just as much as you do. It's crunch time right now. It is crunch time. And crunch time does not mean go harder. Crunch time does not mean rush. Crunch time does not mean put so much pressure on yourself that now you're questioning your decision making. No, crunch time means get clear, get calm, get quiet in the mind, and know where you're supposed to go. Know what you're supposed to do and do it. And learn from the lessons and have trust and have faith that every single thing that you're doing is going to lead to you becoming the person that has everything, that lives the lifestyle of that vision that's within here, that impacts the people, right? So if you're at a level to where you feel like you've hit a ceiling, you've seen success on some level or another, you feel like you've gotten yourself out of that rock bottom, but you're not hitting that next level and you're frustrated, it's because you need to slow down. You need to get clarity. You got to get honest with yourself about where your decision making is breaking down in terms of the character of the person that you want to be. Do you even know who you want to be? Do you know what your character embodies? Do you know the values that you have, the principles that you stand by? Get clear on them. Sit in silence. No phone, no technology, and get clear on that. Get clarity on that. Because that is the only thing that's going to allow you to truly, truly get to that next level. Because I'm telling you, I'm in this phase right now. And at this point, If you keep white knuckling it without getting the clarity on where you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to move, the intention that you need to have, I guarantee you, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be delayed in getting to where you want to be, and it's going to feel off. It's going to feel off. So stop right now. And I'm talking to myself. I'm literally talking to you all and myself right now. So if you feel some type of way, it's good, because I feel some type of way about it too. Because it has to happen. There's no more playing around with this. It's crunch time. We're in Q2. The goals that you had, where are you in relation to the goals that you said that you wanted to hit? The lifestyle that you said that you wanted to live, the person that you said you wanted to be. Are you closer to that? To actually being that person? Does it feel real? Even if you're not seeing the physical manifestations of it? And like I said, we rented this villa for the weekend, so I'm not going to sit here and act like, I own this right now. But this is something that is within the vision of who I am and who I know I will be as I continue to grow and get more clarity and become more intimately aware of my own internal world and get that certainty and that clarity of who I am and how I should move, and not wavering or not conforming to whatever else somebody wants me to be or their idea of who they think I am. I was in a call with a profound entrepreneur, very, very successful. And I was just soaking up everything that he was saying. And you have to become intimately aware of who you are, of your mission, right? You have to become intimately aware of knowing how you're supposed to move. Because you think that you are who other people think you are. You don't even think you're who you think you are. And that's sad. That's insane to really think about. And I've lived majority of my life that way. Probably from elementary school all the way up until now. So the main thing is, for you to get to that next level, you have to slow down. You have to get clarity. You're not going to hit the next level unless you do this. So unless you want to find yourself constantly battling, constantly white knuckling, constantly having to put in this effort to get nowhere, that vision that's in your mind yet still doesn't feel real in your hands is because you haven't slowed down. It's because you haven't taken the time to actually get clear on how you should move, on what your decision making should be. So that's the first step. Slow down. Be okay with slowing down. Be okay with losing out on opportunities. Be okay with losing out on experiences that you want to do, but you know aren't aligned. Be okay with missing out on that. Get the clarity. Become intimately aware with your internal world, and garner the lessons and the wisdom from that that's going to get you to the next level. It's the only way you're going to get there. That's the only way I'm going to get there. It's what I had to do. I had to get honest with myself, and it's uncomfortable, but it's the only way to do it. So we're in Q2. Don't squander that opportunity to get more intimately aware with yourself, to get that clarity, to know how to move, to have that strategic decision making, because it's crunch time. There's no other way to the next level. So let's get to it.